That's the river, and Digornianum, and that's Tashiroi, all these things. And look how mossy they are, just on the riverbank. Ancient trees just hugging on the side of the rivers. That's a tunnel of Rhododendron Tashiroi. Again, Tashiroi is an evergreen azalea. I've never seen evergreen azalea this big, but again, they're reaching for the light. Let's see, so unfortunately, the typhoon, remember, it canceled my flight. That Yakushima was hit severely. That's why they canceled the flight for the day before as well. Well, they knocked down all the flowers of Tashiroi here, so I couldn't see them, but that's okay. I mean, some poet in Japan said in Yakushima it rains 370 days out of the year. To give you perspective, I'm from the rainy city of Seattle. I live there, and we get about 40 inches a year, while Yakushima gets 400 inches a year. So that'll give you perspective. Yeah, so I feel really, really fortunate to be able to do this hike in clear weather. So after typhoon, usually weather clears up, so the timing worked out perfectly. So, okay, so that was the Tashiroi, Tashiroi tunnel in the wild. Well, the garden I work at, that's the Rhododendron Tashiroi. Again, in cultivation, it'll never do what it would do in the wild. It's manicured, it's well shaped, and it, right level, trims are limbed up, so it's just completely different growth habit in a garden setting. This is another Digornianum, 20 feet in the air, growing outside the pine. Is it happy? No, but it's still alive. Yeah. Again, with the precipitation that Yakushima receives, that's why they can survive like that. If they have summer like us in Seattle, which we can have 3 days of drought, no rain whatsoever, then these plants wouldn't be able to survive that. And they have humidity and all that too, so that all helps. Around 5,000 feet, just around when we passed around the elevation, I started noticing the leaves are starting to get a little bit smaller. And you can see the indamentum is starting to get a little bit thicker, as you can see in the image. That is not my destination, but this rock right here is called tofu rock. So for some people, I think it looks like tofu that's being sliced evenly. Sure. I would call it sourdough bread. But I have different interpretations, so that's fine. So yeah, that's a well-known rock. And just to give you an idea, this rock will fill 2 of these rooms. So it's a massive, massive boulders. Yeah. And we took a break on this big boulder, looking down to all the canopies that we're walking through. And all these plants that we grow in the garden setting were right in front of me, such as that's Staphylophilum macropodum, that's Viburnum furcatum, that wonderful fall color, Viburnum from Japan, Pieris japonica, I'm sure a lot of you have that in the garden, Cornus scusa, that's a dogwood native to Japan, of course, Digornianum in bloom. So all these plants that I think we have all of these plants planted in our garden. So seeing them in the wild is just really something special for me. Again, Cornus scusa in bloom. It's not the showiest flowers, but still. And then that's a Daphne-phyllum. The stem is bright red, which is really showy. Yep, see again, the indamentum is starting to get a little bit thicker. So hiking in Yakushima is really different feeling from other hikes that I've done in Japan because of these skeleton trees. Everywhere you look, you see all these dead trees that are still hanging on. They're still standing. They're no longer alive, but they're still there. And there's a reason that they don't fall over easily. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, wherever you hike, you see all these white vertical skeleton trees everywhere. So that's like a really different feel, yeah. So that's one of my destinations at 6,000 feet. And later you will see me standing on this big boulder. So stay tuned for that. Well, we have to get there first. So yeah, that's my destination. That will be my second destination. So first we'll get to Nageshi Daira. So Yakushima, I didn't know this, has 2 southernmost marshlands in Japan. And 2 are right around 5,000 feet, a little over that, and right two next to each other. So that's one of them. And from my research beforehand, so apparently there are so many cool endemic plants. Endemic meaning only occurs here, nowhere else, like a little violets and all these other perennials. Well, I didn't really have time to look for that kind of stuff, so I skipped it. But it was still a beautiful sunny day, great to walk around. So this is on the way to the second marshland, which is bigger and slightly higher in elevation. Yeah, oh, this is all sphagnum bog at 5,000 feet, which is quite amazing. But yeah, I have my guide with me, so I didn't want to walk off from the boardwalk to, look for other plants, so I behaved myself. Yeah, so that's the marshland. Again, we walked on this boardwalk to get to the trail. After this part, the trail got quite steep. But yeah, the precipitation they got the day before was, I can't remember, I think it says something like 6 inches in a day or something like that. So the trail was submerged, it was turning to a little pond. You can see little tadpoles walking swimming on the trail. Yeah, such a clear water, beautiful sunny day. And then when you hike in Japan, this type of mini shrine is pretty common. So this is where local will supply like a bowl of rice or like a bottle of sake on a special occasion, just to appreciate the mountain spirit and appreciate for us being there and all that. And this is used for local cultural ceremonies by the locals. There are about 27 tribes in Yakushima. It's a small island, but each villages have their own name and tradition and all that. So they're still used for that. 5,400 feet, that's starting to turn into the yak that I know of. I feel comfortable calling this Yakushima at this point. It's hard to draw exact line because, as you go up and down, the plant's appearance goes back and forth too. So I can't really say, okay, at 5,400 feet, we can call everything yak. Well, it's not as clear as that, but yeah. This, to me, this picture represents the ecosystem of Yakushima. See, that's a dead skeleton cedar. Little Digoronianum growing as epiphyte. That's a mountain ash, another Digoronianum, and all these other little plants. Actually, this cedar is still alive. Look at that. Yeah. So all these things growing epiphytically. Their roots are exposed, but they can grow like that because of the ecosystem in there. And I saw a monkey. Look at this. Yeah, this is Yakushima monkey. Very closely related to the mainland monkey of Japan, but Yakushima makes everything compact, and so the monkey was an exception. It's much smaller, and it's a family of them. Yeah, he was working on the rhododendron bark, chewing on the rhododendron bark, which I didn't know they do that. Yeah, so on the island, there's no predatory mammals. The largest mammals are the Yakushima deer, which is another compact deer, and monkeys. No bears and no wolves. I think something like, I have it here, 16 species of mammals in Yakushima. And those are the largest ones, and you have mouse and weasels and all that. But yeah, and I asked my guide, are they not afraid of people? And they are not, because they know that the hikers do not go off the trail. So they got pretty close to me, which was amazing. Yeah. Again, Indomintum is thicker, leaves are getting smaller. Now at this point we enter the subalpine area. You can tell because all the big tree has disappeared. We lost the shade, we were walking in the full sun, and all the large cryptum area that we had has turned into a smaller tree. Yeah. And as I mentioned, the Indomintum thickness and the size of the foliage goes back and forth, so we're back to more intermediate form here. And when we were walking on the trailhead, I think the severe wind unwrapped the big root or some shrub that was wrapped around on this boulder, so soil was exposed, and it's really interesting to see that. So if you look, the darkest part right here on the top surface, that's the soil. That's about 2 feet That's all. And then below are the granite. So all these plants are growing, all these massive cedars and big epiphytic plants, they are growing in 2 feet of soil, which is amazing to think. And I think this would be a good time to explain